Welcome to a very special episode of Life at Cyber. I'm your host, Kenny, and I would like to introduce you all to the women that made this whole thing possible. Say hello to Allie, and Laura. This is the Wives episode.
Probably Shannon. Is that enough dancing?
That's enough dancing.
Oh, we're done? Okay. Sorry.
You can keep going if you want. It's totally fine. Nobody's going to stop you. Just do what's comfortable to you. Well, this is the podcast now. We're just going to dance, and if anybody's got questions, like, we'll take them in the comments and we'll answer you next week.
Yes.
That's it. This is the
Okay.
podcast. Well, why don't we start with introducing the audience to who you are? So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves? What do you all do for work?
Who's going first?
Who cares?
You go first. You talk first. You go first.
I'm a registered nurse. I work for a local hospice company. And I'm married to Shannon.
Gross. Disgusting.
That's a full-time job.
It is.
Yes, it is.
I'll go second. I am a preschool teacher, and I have 4 children, and I'm married to Josh.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm Laura. I'm married to John, and I work as a legal and executive assistant for the state of Wyoming.
So y'all are all over the place. So for a cyber podcast, y'all are adjacent to cyber. I think the one that's closest to having worked in tech would probably be Allie as in the hospital where you were working in informatics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how close to IT or cybersecurity did that get you to, and did you enjoy it?
So Shannon will like this story. When I was in nursing school is when our hospital started their informatics department. So he was like, hey, you could work in informatics and work Monday through Friday and not have to work weekends and nights and holidays and stuff nurses have to do. And I'm like, I'm not going to nursing school to work in IT. Not going to happen. And so I graduated nursing school and I got a job in the hospital, working nights, weekends, holidays, and I hated it. And because I wanted to see my husband who worked IT Monday through Friday, I wanted to start a family and have kids. And Shannon was scared and was like, yeah, no, I'm not having a baby when you're working nights. So I decided to try to find something that worked better along that schedule, and informatics kind of came back into the picture. And so for the next 5 years that I did that and made babies, he constantly told me, I thought you didn't want to go to nursing school to work in IT. So, of course, because it's Shannon. But as far as it being close to IT, it was kind of what they called under the same umbrella. So we had a director who was a nurse, but her boss was the CIO. So both of us had the same big boss. But I couldn't tell you how many times I called Shannon directly at his desk to say, hey, help me with this. And he'd be like, you work IT, you fix it. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm informatics. Or call the help desk. If they don't know what they're doing, that's why I'm calling you. I need this done now. So he would usually help me. But really what I did was work on the EMRs, the electronic medical records, getting the flow sheets and orders and everything lined up to where they met best practice. So when the doctors and nurses did their documentation and placed their orders, everything was covered. So when, the state surveyors would come in, the hospital got their funding and didn't get in trouble.
I was
Um,
literally just Googling what that is. I was like, I have no idea what she's talking about.
And welcome to how we do the podcast. Every time somebody says
Right.
something, we all just Google it.
and my main focus was education. So I would teach all of the new hire nurses, CNAs, techs, pretty much everyone in the hospital other than docs. We had a special team that did the doctors. Took phone calls, answered questions, got complaints, fixed things that could be fixed, explained why things couldn't be fixed, and did, of course, education house-wide if things changed, and got angry feedback because people hate change. So that's the world of IT and the world of healthcare and the world in general,
That's
really.
the world.
But yeah. I did that for 5 years until they no longer needed my position and decided to branch out, try something different, and landed in hospice, and have been doing that for 3 years and love it. Totally different from what I was doing, but
I think
still have to use technology.
I think the moral of the story that I'm going to take out of that is don't get married to someone that works at my job. Otherwise, I'll be working help desk again.
Oh, yeah. Took me a minute. I got 3 hours of sleep last night. My kid was up sick all night, so, And then I worked today, so.
Well, you don't
I'm
have
a
the
little tired.
giant dark rings under your eyes, so you're doing pretty good.
Like me.
I mean, I took a shower
Or
like
me.
an hour ago, so kind of woke myself up a little bit.
What about the other two? How close were you all to like technology or IT in your careers? Did you come close, or do you just call them when you need them, kind of thing?
I have to say, I probably done more IT in the last 2 jobs than I have ever done at any job before. I feel like I got jumped in and voluntold, really to help. So part of my job is to work on board meetings, and part of that board meetings is we have to make sure we're able to connect with all board meetings. And with COVID, we had a lot of Zoom / YouTube videos that we had to put up, and I got thrown into the world after the person who normally did those left his position, and we had it open for a while, and I had to learn really quickly all the different aspects of working with uploading to YouTube and working on a Zoom. And just today, it was actually kind of funny. My boss could not figure out how to get his computer to attach back to his computer to his keyboard after he left the office and came back. So I had to figure it out why his keyboard wasn't working. Never thought I would be thrown into doing that, but he didn't even know what a dongle was
What?
for the computer to be attached to the keyboard. No, he didn't even realize that was the word for it. It's kind of funny just knowing little things about technology that you pick up over the years from being married to someone IT.
Mm-hmm.
The word dongle is probably my favorite one in IT.
No, he could not believe that it was called dongle. He even was like, it's spelled, how it, I don't even know how he spelled it. I'm like, I don't know if that's how you spell it, but he just could not understand that concept, that that's what it was called.
I feel like Laura saying dongle's gonna make the soundboard.
Probably.
We could just make it a thing for the rest of the episode. Let's just say dongle at least once a sentence. That's now a requirement.
Dongle. I had no idea what a dongle was. I literally know zero IT stuff. None at all.
Well, you work with preschoolers, so you probably
They
Google stuff
clearly-
and Pinterest stuff, and
Yeah, I Google. That's like the most I do.
yeah.
Preschoolers clearly need a lot in technology. They need a lot of IT support. They need to know how to
They
hook a
do.
dongle up to a keyboard. It's all
Right.
the same.
They probably can.
They need to know how to chart a full, nursing assessment, and yeah.
Well,
It's
Allie,
important.
I clean butts every day.
So
That's
do
what I do.
I was just about to ask what kind of technology you use in the classroom, but it sounds like it's more about baby wipes, maybe.
Yes. I put on
Hands-on.
YouTube to listen to music. And we do have an app to update like families and stuff about the kid's day, but I do that with my cell phone. So
Still technology.
computers really. Yeah, that's about it.
I didn't know that they use apps now in the classroom. Like I used to run IT for an elementary school by myself, and we weren't quite that advanced. We were doing smart boards back then.
Yeah, smart boards. Even with my other kids, there's all different ways that you can see what's going on in the school.
We have an app for our daughter's school too, and it's really nice. They can send reminders and photos. They'll be like, "Look what we did today," and like share photos with the parents. It's pretty cool.
That's cool. What's the name of the app?
I can literally log on to JD's grades and see his grades
Mm-hmm.
that he has. Like,
Hmm.
I would have been dead. Like, I failed everything. So
If your
the app
parents
they
were
use
checking in
here
every
is
day.
the app they use here is called Class Dojo.
oh, that's what I use
Is that the same there?
for my preschool.
So is that just the standard
Yes.
these days? Is Class Dojo? It sounds like.
There's so many, but Class Dojo is pretty good.
He used Class Dojo, and my daughter was in elementary school too.
And what's interesting is all three of those are across different states, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you got New York,
Sí,
Colorado,
señor.
Wyoming. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. That's kind of interesting how like widespread that specific one is. You'd think it would be a little more specific, like district by district. But I don't know how any of that.
Well, we're a private preschool, but like our district has like their own
Okay, that makes sense.
parent square for the district.
So here's one of the fun stories that I've always wanted to ask some of you. I know the answer for one of you, but how did y'all meet your husbands?
Technology.
I was flipping through the calendars of the month. Saw Josh lying on the beach.
You're like a IT guy monthly or what?
Yes. I was looking for.
We give
I
out
need to
free
see this
calendars
calendar.
at the Chili Festival every year. We have a cook-off and we give out calendars as fundraisers for the supplies. It's great. We usually lose to the firefighters.
Oh, go for it with your calendar story. I like it. It's awkward
Truth.
not interrupting.
So his cousin was with my brother, and I went to Colorado with her because my brother couldn't make it, and that's where I met him, was in Colorado, where he was living at the time. And it was love at first sight. And then I traveled across the state to go live with him.
And then you stole him away and left us forever.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're not.
We don't miss him. It's fine.
I miss Allie tormenting Shannon.
I still torment him
I know.
via technology.
But it used to be much more physical.
I know.
I have photos to prove it. So Laura, tell us more about your technology meeting, John. I don't know if I even know this story.
Well, it's pretty simple. We just met from a dating app.
Which one?
Match.
Oh.
Nothing crazy. It's just
Not farmers
Actually, it
only.
no. God.
I'll never forget when I saw that commercial. I was like,
Oh my God, I'm pretty sure most
There's
of
the
the
sound.
people in Wyoming would be on it too.
Right?
Actually, it was funny. After we met, we realized that we went to the same high school and were friends with the same people, and we never met. Not till years later after high school. So it's actually kind of funny that we met through technology.
That is
So
weird.
Shannon and I also met, well, we technically kind of met as children. We went to the same middle and high schools, but we did not run in the same social circles. Didn't have very many classes
You were like
together.
so cool, right?
Yeah.
He
No.
was a loser.
We were definitely different kinds of nerds. Like I was the kind of nerd who wanted to be cool. But it didn't work. No, I was a choir kid. And
Was I?
as was Allie, obviously. And then Shannon was in computer club, which I did not know our high school had until I started dating him years later and found out he was in computer club at our high school. Oh, that's neat. But we, barely knew each other in high school, and then also met via technology on Facebook several years later. He sent me a friend request. I don't friend people I don't know, but I was like, oh, I remember that guy. Started chatting on Facebook and decided I'd want to try to hang out and meet the guy. So made him, drive half an hour to where I lived and took a friend out with me to make sure I had a getaway plan in case he was a creep. I don't know why we're still
Oh, I'm
here.
guessing the
but...
plan didn't work.
Once you saw him immediately, you were like, oh, this guy's not intimidating at all. We're good.
Right.
Moral of the story, sliding into the DMs works, apparently.
Sometimes, if you know the guy, and I think the nerd factor plays into that, because they're pretty harmless. Like when I asked him what he was doing, he asked me what I was doing, and I was like, I dropped out of school. I'm not really doing anything. I'm working at a bank, figuring out what I want to do with my life. What are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm working at blah, blah, blah place in IT, getting my bachelor's degree. I'm like, well, that makes sense and makes me feel not very smart. But
I feel so stupid like 99% of my day.
Why?
Like, because half the stuff he talks about, I'm like, sure. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Uh-huh. Whatever you say. Oh, is that how it went? All right. Cool. No idea what the hell he's talking about.
What's fun is when we meet Kenny, and it's like the halfway point for us and John and Laura. So we'll sometimes all meet up in Denver, and the three guys just go into full on tech talk nerd mode, and Laura and I are like, so nice weather we're having. How are the kids?
yeah.
No idea what they're talking about.
I always kind of flash back to when I was a little kid. I used to watch like Pokemon and Digimon and all those things on TV. And I would get excited and I'd want to tell my mom. I'd be like, Mom, Gabumon just digivolved into Garurumon. And she'd be like, what? I don't know. It's cool. All right, honey.
Was that English?
No.
Josh was watching Dragon Ball Z the other night, just so you know.
That's amazing.
With the kids or without?
It was like 11:30 at night. I was trying to sleep.
That's awesome. That's the answer I was hoping for.
I didn't like Dragon Ball Z very much. Not my kind of show. Little too much testosterone.
Yeah, I was like, what are you watching?
It's literally just muscle dudes screaming at the sky. Sorry to all the anime lovers in the chat. This is not going well for you tonight. So this kind of really goes well into the next topic I wanted to get into, which is what's it like having a partner who works in the tech industry? Like, what are the good things? What are the challenges? Like, what are the things that caught you off guard that you didn't expect? I don't know. What's it like on the other side of that fence?
Waking up in the middle of the night with him being on his phone, working on a emergency project.
Is that one of the
Did not see that coming.
challenges? I'm
Yeah,
guessing?
I would have to say, like, it's rare, but he'll be like, oh, I need to go and fix this thing. Something's not working. The power, the heat is too high. The computers are overheating. I'm like, what? Okay, go.
Yeah, we did have quite an incident when we worked together where Shannon had to take off in the middle of the night emergently, and then me working informatics had to go in and try to help calm the masses when they couldn't do their documentation for a few days, and it was a lot for both of us. That was a crazy couple weeks during COVID nonetheless, so
Oh no.
Yeah.
I do have a interesting story about one of those wake up in the middle of the night, or actually wasn't wake up. We were out camping. And he got a call that he had to go help and fix something. And so we weren't too far from town camping, and our campsite was down the hill. He didn't have too much signal, so he had to go up the hill to get signal to get on his laptop and work on the project. So you just see him sitting on the top of the hill with his headlights on his truck, working the problem, and we're all just down by the campfire, just enjoying our night, wondering when he's going to ever be done. So
Yeah, Josh always brings his computer just in case something happens. Just in case. Oh, and then at family gatherings too, it's great. It's like the family brings all their computers over and like,
Oh yeah.
can you look at this? Can you fix this? Like an
Or the
assembly
family
line.
members you never hear from, and then his phone rings and he's like, I bet they need something fixed. And he'll either answer it and sure enough, or he'll be like, no, they don't call me unless they want something. And then he feels bad and calls them back. And they're like, hey, can you look at my computer?
Yeah.
One of the perks, though, is right. One of the perks, hugest perk probably for all of us, is we have a live-in IT guy. Like, regardless of what's happening with our devices, they probably know how to fix it or if it can't be fixed or how to find out. We have more computers and devices than my house than most people probably have within their entire family, which took some getting used to, and then sometimes I take for granted. I remember being in school and one of my fellow students called me one night panicking because we had a paper due the next day and her laptop wouldn't work. I'm like, calm down, just get another computer. She's like, I don't have another computer. And I'm like, oh yeah. Not normal people don't just have 5 computers sitting in their house.
I actually make fun of
Another
Shannon a lot
perk
for the
I would
laptop
say.
store.
Laptop. Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Alex.
Another perk I would say is flexibility from working from home is key.
Definitely.
I have 4 children that have multiple things to do.
And that get sick all the time because they're kids and they're germ facts.
Yes, they get sick. Like I can't work from home. I can't virtually wipe a butt. Wish I could sometimes, but I can't. Right. But like he helps get the kids ready in the morning and he gets them off the bus because I work 30 minutes away. So, and he only works like 15 minutes away. So he can still go into the office, but then be home for when the kids get off the bus.
I think one of the things I've noticed with seeing like other tech people in home environments, I have to say this because I'm not one of those. I'm one of those tech people that lives in an apartment and I just make people do things for me, I guess. I don't know. But is the innate problem solving skill, right? It's not just about being able to fix the technology. A lot of the time they can fix all kinds of random stuff. Like a washing machine goes down, a refrigerator, a car might need to be fixed. We need to patch a hole in a wall because a kid tripped over something. Who knows? Like they're pretty good at just figuring out random stuff because they're used to diving into things they've never seen before, right? So that's one of the things that I personally have witnessed and I'm usually impressed by. And then I realized that I'm one of those. So I'm like, why am I impressed? But
I must add to that. So like I grew up with my dad thinking he could like put anything together and it usually ended with like cursing and like crying. So like Josh, like the toilet will break or like the refrigerator, something will break and he was like, I can figure this out. And I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, like it's gonna break even more. But like he'll like watch YouTube videos, Google, like research what he needs to do, what he needs to buy. And I'm like, I don't know why I ever doubt you, but like he always figures it out. Might take like a few days for him to like fine tune everything he needs to buy and do and whatever, but he fixes it. And I'm like, all right, sorry.
John YouTube to learn how to finish our basement. And we finished out a basement.
Wow.
And then sold the house. And then now we're getting ready to finish out a new basement. So more YouTube videos to make sure the problems we had with the last one aren't, or how to fix the problems from the last one. And we're moving right along.
I was expecting not that big of a task. Good Lord. So one of the things we talk about on the cast a lot is work-life balance. And you all kind of touched on like being emergency, like on call, which I think in IT is just kind of the nature of the beast, unfortunately. And it's so unpredictable, right? It can be in the middle of the night. Sometimes it can be during a holiday. Sometimes it can be during the day when we're supposed to be working and on call, right? And it's the same thing. Sometimes it lasts for a couple hours. Sometimes it lasts for a couple months. It's pretty rough. So one of the things we talk about is work-life balance. Do you think your husbands do a good job at that?
Yes.
I would have to say yes.
Shannon's gotten better. And I feel like we've almost swapped places a little bit. Because I used to have a job that I could just leave at work and was never on call. And so I didn't understand that. I was like, you're off. Why are you checking emails? Why are you doing this? And he was like, just checking emails to make sure nothing was happening. And now I do that working home hospice because I want to see what's going on when I'm not working with my patients. And so he gets mad at me now for that. But I'm like,
So-
well, you know.
So I think
But I think he's gotten better.
I think you're kind of reflecting back too over the last 11 years or so, right? So I guess Allie and Laura, did John and Josh ever struggle with it and then improve over time, or have they always been good as long as you've known them?
Improvement, definite improvement.
Yes, improvement for sure.
Mhm.
What were
And he knows when he needs to like disconnect. He'll be like, I just need to be done for the day.
what were some of the changes that you all saw? Like, was it a conscious effort, or was it just like, kind of slowly got there over time naturally? Like, how did it work? Did you all fight him?
I think the more kids we had, the more he had to pay attention to them. So he's pretty good at disconnecting at night. And then one of our things, we like to watch like stupid Netflix shows like Love is Blind, like things where he says he doesn't have to think.
I love Love is Blind, and Shannon won't watch it with me.
Oh, Spanish is right in there watching it.
I like how we
I
got you
love
to
it.
call it Spanish. That's great.
I know.
I always refer to him as Spanish when I talk to you guys.
I've been like making myself think of him as Josh this last week because I've never called him that before. And I'm like, I probably shouldn't call him Spanish on the podcast.
Spanish.
But if his wife calls him that, then I guess it's fair game.
It's not hard for me. I only know him as Spanish.
Right.
That was how he was introduced.
As introduced, I've never actually met
Right.
either Allie or Josh, and I just know them as Spanish and Allie.
Allie. Spanish and Allie. Yep.
I also met him as Spanish, and I remember the first time meeting him, Shannon introduced me as Allie, and he's like, oh, I have an Allie now too. But it was still like a long distance thing. And then she came out here, and I was like, I get nervous meeting friends' girlfriends because I'm like, are they like snobby and prissy? Because I'm not.
And
But
I was not.
She was not.
No.
She was
Past
in my
tense.
wedding. And
She is
everything.
now.
I was. That was the best wedding ever.
I know. Laura's the only one that missed it. She wasn't in our lives quite yet, but
No, not yet.
we're
Although we
making
did
up for
get to go
last
to
time.
Laura's wedding, and that was fun.
We did.
I didn't get to go.
You could have come.
Blame Spanish.
We were really into Criminal Minds around that time, so I think we were all scared someone was gonna like come in and kill me and the children. Have you ever been watched Criminal Minds? It'll
Yeah.
mess you up.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So, how about your own work-life balance? Allie, you kind of touched on yours already a little bit.
Yeah, I know I need to get better about it. That doesn't mean I'm doing it yet. Shannon will
is
yell
step
at me.
one.
Mhm.
Well, I have to say, mostly had a good work-life balance until probably this recent job, and it's not that I don't still have one. It's that it's a little different because of having to go to board meetings. There are 2 boarding meetings a year that I have to travel to different parts of the state to go to, and making sure that we coordinate our schedules for the home life with the kids has been a little bit tougher now, especially because this last September board meeting, I had to be gone for almost 2 weeks because we had the board meeting and then we had to do a conference right afterwards in the other side of the state. So it's almost 2 full weeks that I was gone. We had to coordinate with the kids, how to take care of them, and with John. And I think there was a conference he wanted to go to as well. And he had to say no to that one because I was already going to go on.
Allie leaves her butts at work.
Well, see, so I've been working where I've been working for 11 years. So my boss is like also my best friend. So like I'll be texting with her about work, but about personal stuff. And Spanish will be like, "Who are you talking to?" Like, my friend. Leave me alone. But I mean, sometimes parents will reach out and I'll be like, it's 10 o'clock at night. I can't remember if your kid pooped today, napped. I don't know. Sorry. See you in the morning.
They actually like text you at 10 o'clock. Hey, did Jimmy Job, whatever his name is, poop today?
Jimmy Job.
Yeah, it's happened. Or like,
Wow.
oh my God, my kid left their favorite stuffed animal and they're not going to sleep. Can we come? Like, can you go open up the school? And I'm like, no. I'm sorry.
That reminds me of
Don't bring your kid's favorite toy.
probably
Right.
one of my more extreme times when I've been like stopped in the middle of nowhere. I was actually out at a restaurant in the restroom, standing at a urinal, and somebody from the university comes up at the one next to me and like, "Hey, I got a question about my email."
While you're peeing.
Like, bro,
Midstream.
midstream at a restaurant. Come on, man.
Wow.
I
At
helped
least
him.
wait till you wash your hands.
I
Come
did
on.
not wait until I washed my hands. I answered.
No, he
that
should have
man's
waited till you
question.
washed your hands.
Want to see my new water gun?
Oh, that's a
So
clip.
gross.
It actually reminds me, I did get stopped by another person who actually decided that that was a great moment to tell a joke. Was when I was standing at a urinal.
And did you find it funny?
I did. He comes up, he stands next to me, and he's like, "Hey, so I hear this is where all the dicks hang out."
Why, yes, they do.
I was literally a half an inch from pissing on that man's leg.
Oh my God. That's really funny.
So on the work-life balance topic, Laura, you mentioned conferences. I think all of us have traveled to conferences, at least all of the guys on the podcast. How do you all handle those times? Like the coordination of it, the taking care of things by yourself kind of thing? Like, do you tag in family members? Do you just power through it? Like, what's the plan? Do you have a plan every time, or do you just kind of make it up as you go?
Make it up as you go.
I hate
Hope.
them.
Hope for survival.
Every conference is different. So depending on whether or not what's going on with the kids, it could be easy to handle or have to tag in family member.
Oh, and now most of your kids
So-
are older, so you do sports and stuff too, right? How do you juggle all
Mhm.
that?
Very carefully. With a calendar I apparently don't ever fill out. Sorry for last week.
Sorry, John.
got
I
to
have
go
a
to
dryer. Go ahead. You go.
Fight to the death.
You sure?
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw that sexy face and I liked it. Oh God, a clip. Anyway, I got to go to a conference one time and it was 3 days and I thought Shannon was going to lose his mind because he was the one that was being left with the kids. And so he called my mom to come and stay at the house the entire time I was gone because he couldn't handle it. But then when he goes on a conference and I complain about it, we can't have that because he's just doing his job. Different story.
Shannon Elizabeth.
His double standards are
I forgot that you
legendary
called
and
him.
hilarious.
I mean, they're sometimes hilarious, not always in the moment, but
Hilarious to me on the outside. What about you, Allie?
I do think it makes it
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I do think it makes it easier with having older kids when it's conference time because there's less that you actually have to handle, even with the sports, because you don't have to handle making sure they're eating. They're hungry. They're going to go get their own food. So,
Cleaning their
they
butts.
can bathe themselves.
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm on like both sides of the spectrums with the kids because I have an almost 12-year-old and then the youngest is almost 3 and then the middle one. So like I have 2 that can fully do stuff on their own and then I have 2 that I have to help, and usually with baseball and stuff, Spanish will take the 2 older boys and I'll have the 2 younger ones, and you have to split and conquer and divide and just figure it out. Sometimes kids get dragged to games they don't want to go and practices they don't want to go, but it's good to be bored and get away from technology and play in the dirt and the sand.
Yep. And my kids
I
hate
have a
being
question.
bored.
I have a question. Do you have technology rules for the children?
I know the guys touched on this at some point.
Okay, then never mind.
But-
Forget my question.
Oh no, it's nice to hear
It's
the other
okay because it's
perspective.
probably it's probably different coming from the moms.
Mhm.
We haven't really locked it down to specific rules. We probably should because our kids are really bad already, and they're only 3 and 7. Like they're
What's
little.
really bad though?
Like we tell them to go outside and they don't want to because they want to watch TV.
Yeah,
And they'll
so
sit
do I
there.
though.
Right, I know. But we're not 3 and 7, and when we were
I
3
know.
and 7, we were told to just
You're
go
always
outside.
I know, I
Mhm.
know.
And just times have changed, of course. But
Mhm.
our oldest does have one of our mini tablets that is allowed to be hers, and Shannon has it pretty locked down. She can only get to like her little gaming apps that we approve of, and only her kid profile on Netflix and PBS Kids and things like that. We have a passcode on it that she does not know the code to. So she has to ask for it and bring it to us for us to unlock it. So we always know when she's using it. We probably,
Smart.
we probably let her spend more time on it than we should at times. But sometimes I think all of us would agree it's a sanity check for us. Like,
Guilty. When people
we're
are like, I
like,
took
if you
away
want to
their
go in your
tablet.
room, if you want to go in your room and play on your tablet for an hour so I can sit here and watch an episode of Love is Blind or something I want to watch without you, like, go for it.
I know when people are like, I took away tablet time for them. I'm like, who are you punishing? Because that sounds like your own punishment.
Yeah, we've done that, and it is a punishment.
It
for us.
is. It's a punishment.
Mhm.
But like, I think it's like everyone needs to disconnect. So like, or have like their own like me time. So like, my oldest will be up in his room. He'll be on his phone. The TV will be on, and he's on his Chromebook. Like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm watching TV, talking to my friends, playing FIFA Mobile. I'm like, what? And then Emily, our 6-year-old, she has my old cell phone and she's on YouTube, like loving life. She thinks she's a teenager. And I'm like, slow down. You gotta slow down. But even the 3-year-old, he knows how to put on the TV, find what he wants on Netflix. Like, it's crazy what they can do.
Yeah.
They made a Google slide presentation today of what they both want for Christmas.
The 2 little ones did?
No, the older ones. The older
okay.
ones. Yeah. And it was pretty funny. It was pretty good.
I'd like
They
to
just get a
see
few
full-on
things.
cost proposals, return on investment, full-on analyses, good, better, best options. Let's go.
Right.
I'd be teaching these kids to give me an MBA presentation.
I mean,
You
they didn't
totally
ask for
would.
anything crazy. Sweatpants, a shirt, sweatshirts, nothing crazy.
Surprisingly reasonable. What about you, Laura?
It's a bit, it's a bit different now that we have the teenagers. We don't really lock them down as much, especially because they have to do things for class on YouTube quite a bit. But I do have monitoring software on their phones so that at least we know what they're doing. And if there's something that isn't appropriate that passed, it'll be alerted on my phone, and then we just go talk about it. But I know that at least the older of the 2 boys has started to figure out how to even circumvent those things.
I mean, he's
So,
John's
I mean-
kid, so it's gonna happen.
Yeah, he is definitely John's mini-me, and there's not much you can do when they start learning how to get around the safeguards, and other than actually start talking to them about why there was the safeguards in the first place, and now why it's appropriate or not appropriate to be looking at certain things. I think it kind of goes back to the lessons that we were taught at that point, what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing, the base morals. And if you're not teaching them the base morals, and all the technology guards you have in place, at some point, they're just gone. And what do you have left?
Did we have technology cards in place?
Yeah, it was. Dad had the remote control.
Yeah. That's true.
Didn't have the password to pay-per-view.
Mhm.
Oh, my mom used to get mad because if she was trying to like bogart the remote, I would just walk up to the TV and push buttons. I'd turn the dial on it, and she'd be like, "Stop changing the channel."
The dial?
Yeah, that's
Old
the kind of
What
school.
TV
year were
we-
you born?
I'm actually younger than all of you. Funny
1954?
enough.
He is younger than everybody.
We just had old stuff.
I'm the oldest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm old.
We're all old. It's fine.
I tell my kids all the time I'm elderly.
Elderly.
Where's the gray hair, though?
It's there.
Show me. Get it in there. Get close to the camera. I gotta see it. Closer. Closer.
It's there. It's cold
Speaking-
here.
Speaking
You
with
look
the kids,
cold.
how is the dynamic with the kids? Like, it's funny because Shannon would say this, like, which one of you is the good cop and which one is the bad cop, so to speak?
I'm good cop, 100%. Love me forever.
I think it depends on the situation in our day. Like, there's definitely days that I'm tired and grumpy and my temper's short, and Shannon calls me out on it, and vice versa. You know, he'll have a day where he's just like, why are these kids being so bad? And I'm like, they're not, they're just being kids. And so it kind of goes back and forth, just kind of depending on how our mood and days are going.
Yeah, I second that too, but still more good cop.
Yeah, me too.
There are babies.
I know.
What about you, Laura?
Depends on the situation, how severe it was. I don't know. We kind of flip flop, but I mean, you can totally tell when we're both angry. It's not a good mood, and the trash bags come out.
Oh no.
The trash
Ooh.
bags.
Like legit
Oh, yeah.
trash bags?
Legit trash bags.
Like you're throwing their stuff out?
Oh,
Mhm.
good.
I don't wanna live with you.
Jesus. I thought you were referring to body bags.
Oh,
I needed a little context there.
Watching too
looks
much Criminal
disturbed.
Minds.
You got to remember,
Right.
I'm not a parent, guys.
I mean, you're Uncle Kenny when you're here, but
Right, but I'm the fun one, and I get the option to go home.
he gets them in
Mhm.
trouble and then leaves.
Exactly.
Of course. Hypes them all up, wrestles probably, and then it's like, okay, bye.
And then when
my
they do
brother used to do the
something-
same thing.
They do or say something really bad, and I bust out laughing with no remorse.
Or he'll tell them something that's like a topic that I'm like, we have not like started explaining that part of
Like
the
what?
world
Like what?
yet.
Like what?
Trying to think of an example.
I think there was one where she was talking about marrying her friend Madeline.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's
When
okay,
she was
honey.
like 5.
I was like, that's fine. People do that all the time. And Allie's like, maybe not at this
Yeah,
age,
we're-
Kenny.
Mm-mm.
Okay, fair enough.
Not yet, Kenny.
My favorite
Yeah, because she
ones-
definitely has gone through a phase of wanting to be a boy. So we were like, well, you know, she's 3, so we're just gonna.
Mhm.
bless you.
Was that John?
Yes, that was totally John. Makes me realize what you guys probably hear, Kenny, that when I'm upstairs and he's down here, because I know I've yelled at Morgan.
Mm.
We can hear you poop. It's fine.
Is he upstairs?
He's upstairs.
my
yeah.
God.
Wow, that was aggressive.
Well, I mean, they are very aggressive, but yeah, it's still.
Are you all different on the good cop, bad cop based on the child? Like, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like Josh is going to take it way easier on the girl.
No,
No?
not at all. Like she's been hanging out like in our like playroom essentially, and she's 6. Like she's messy. She'll leave like her bowl that she was eating her chips out, and he'll be like, "What have I told you about cleaning up your mess?" And she's like, "Daddy, I'm sorry." He's like, "Stop forgetting and just do it. I don't want to come down and see a mess in the morning." Sorry, Daddy. I I tend, I think, to go easier on our oldest because he's more like me, I think. So like, and then, but when we fight, we're like, oh my God. So he's like, you got to get out of here. It's like you're fighting with your reflection in the mirror. You got to go. And then our second, Derek, is more like him. So they'll tend to like butt heads or like clash more. They're like identical personality. It's freaky.
I think a lot of it has to do with age too. You know, our youngest being 3, Allie, we have similar aged youngest. So, but like the difference between our 3 and 6-year-olds are, you know, vast in what they can understand and what their responsibilities should be. And so I know our oldest will get mad sometimes because we hold her to a higher standard than her little brother. You
Yeah,
know,
that
make her
happens
clean
a
up
lot
her
too.
mess and things like that. And she's like, well, he doesn't have to do it. And we're like, it's because he's 3.
Yeah.
So there's that right now at this stage of their lives.
What about you, Laura? Are you harder on Morgan than you are on John's kids?
Absolutely.
I figure.
Puts a different dynamic on it having a blended family.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. It is. But I mean, I think it's more of that she's with us a bit more than the boys are. That's why I'm harder on her.
So we're kind of coming up towards the end, and I've got a series of questions from the husbands.
Oh God.
Ooh,
I wasn't told about this.
me neither.
Secrets.
And
I
I'm
know.
not sure the husbands remember these questions because they teed these up for me almost 8 weeks ago, and I think they
Oh,
forgot
God.
about it. One of the fun things about these questions is I think they intended them just for their wives, but I'm going to ask you all to answer each one.
Yay. I'm so excited.
So the first question comes from John, and this is a multi-parter, and it says, why did you marry an a-hole? Out of everyone. This one? Really? That's the question.
Oh my God. Go ahead, Laura.
Well, just to make sure everybody knows, he does call himself an asshole all the time. And he does ask me this question quite a bit. And I'm going to give the same answer that I give him all the time. Because I love him. I wouldn't have married any other way. Wouldn't have married him unless I didn't. There's other qualities other than the asshole. Actually, there is a really good reason to have an asshole as a husband.
And that is?
Doesn't take any shit from anyone.
Everybody's got to have a butthole.
Actually,
True.
Unless you have a colostomy bag.
Like my grandma.
still butthole.
Still a butthole.
And you still have a butthole even if you have a colostomy bag.
You're just not using it, right?
Right.
Nobody said
I
it had
watch
to
Grey's
do with
Anatomy.
what it's described.
But you can still use the butthole for rectal administration of medications.
Oh, I thought they like... Oh, never mind.
Removed it.
That conversation.
So to
I
shut.
thought they, like... Yeah, that's what I thought they did.
Oh man.
Like
I wipe butts.
I know I'm having
Little ones,
flashbacks
functioning
to,
ones.
What is that
Yes.
movie? Do you all remember Hocus Pocus?
Of course.
Absolutely.
What's the name of that guy that had
Hocus
his
what?
mouth shut, like sewed shut, and then he had to like cut his mouth open? and
Oh,
he,
the
like,
zombie guy.
The zombie
yeah,
guy.
he's the zombie guy.
Yeah.
Billy.
Billy.
Billy!
I'm naming my butthole Billy. Let's do it.
Billy the butthole.
All right, who's taking the question next?
BBH. Wait, what was the
That one
question?
took a turn. Why did you marry an asshole?
Out of everyone, this one.
I
Julie.
don't think Spanish is an asshole. He's actually like one of the nicest guys ever in the world.
I think
Rare-
he's the least asshole of the bunch.
Yeah. Actually, you know that group chat is called the assholes, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I just realized that. Yeah, but he can be an asshole. Like he'll piss me off, but like on purpose. But he's really not an asshole.
Shannon
why did I
broke me
marry
in
him?
Slowly. Oh, go for it. Why
Why
did you
did
marry
I-
him?
So we just like wanted to buy a house. No, I'm just kidding. So like we already had 3 kids when we got married, but I always said we were married in our heart way before we got married. But I love him. I love you.
So
Bruh.
Shannon broke me in slowly. He like saved the asshole for like later on in the relationship. Like he made sure he got me hooked first and then kind of slowly started showing the true colors. So by
Oh, now,
that point I
Dawn.
was kind of invested. I already loved him a little. I was like, well, okay. But
Only a little though. Just a little.
But with Laura, I'm with Laura. Like, that strong personality really comes in handy. If you dispute a bill or something stupid like that, like, I hate making those phone calls. Or Shannon, who's like the master negotiator and will, like, nickel and dime anything. He'll go to a counter at a deli and ask for a free cookie just to see if they'll give him one. And they usually do because he talks them into it. So, like, I don't
There
have
is
that
truth.
personality. So it's nice to have that on the other side when we need it.
There is truth to the saying nice guys finish last.
Mm-hmm.
Sometime. Yeah, because this world, it is eat or be eaten. And you kind of have to be an asshole at some point. So
I think especially in their field, like, and going back to the whole reason we're here, like, Shannon works with doctors every day, like, on the other end of things than I do. But, you know, he has to take down a computer, for example, and he tries to contact the doctor. The doctor thinks he's more important than the IT guy on the other end and ignores him. So Shannon gets permission to give him warning and then take over his computer, and the doctor gets angry, and he has to know how to put up with that and deal with it and not just like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll give it back. You know, he has to do a job. So it's important to have that kind of personality for the line of work they're into.
I'm not an asshole at
Next
all.
question.
I don't even know why I'm in that group chat. So the next one comes from Shannon, and Shannon doesn't
Uh-oh.
know that he asked this.
Hmm.
So that's what's going to make this even funnier. He's going to be really mad. He said, "Get date night and gift ideas subtly, please."
What? I don't understand the question.
It's not really a question. It was more of a, Kenny, can you please get some ideas from them while we're at it? And I'm like, yeah, I don't do subtlety. I'm just going to throw it out there and let's see what comes.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? Date night, gift ideas, what would work with you?
So
I want a new
night,
vacuum.
Get Allie a new vacuum. Spanish.
Are we talking like Dyson or like just literally anything from Walmart? Like what kind
No,
of
there's like
vacuum?
this vacuum. It's like cordless. It's probably like a rip-off Dyson. It's not like a real Dyson. We have a Dyson. He'll be like, we have a Dyson. I'm like, you have to like plug it in and it's huge. Like this one, like it just, you get 4 hours of charge time and I can do the whole house. Like I don't need like to empty it. You just push one button. Like this old Dyson. Come on, new technology. Like keep up with the times. Get me a new freaking vacuum.
I mean, I've wanted a Roomba, but he kind of makes a good point. Like, we have kids. We have small kids that leave stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
and
Roomba.
animals.
And animals.
Yeah, you ever
And
see
animals.
those poop Roomba things?
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
It happened.
we had it.
Oh.
We had it. Yeah, it was
Nasty.
I
bad.
think John's talked about that on the podcast already once.
The Roomba poop trail.
You can see how much of an impact it was. We're both talking about it.
Right.
I have a
gross.
Roomba, and my favorite part about them is that they make you name them. And so,
Really?
yep,
Mm.
mine is named God King Xerxes.
That's
Marvin.
Marvin. I like it.
But
Billy
I'd
the
probably name
butthole.
mine Stuart.
Stuart's a good one.
Stuart.
What would you name your Roomba, Allie? You've got 5 seconds. What's the first name that comes to mind? 4.
Potato.
There we go.
There you go.
It's Shannon's name for me, but you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's your name.
I know. But as far as date night ideas, honestly, just arranging someone to watch the kids so we can go somewhere. I don't care where we go. Like, it can be out to eat at one of the 3 restaurants we always go to. Or,
Ooh, what are
you
those
know.
restaurants?
well, I think the place we met you at, Allie, Texas Roadhouse. I think that's where
I
we
don't
met
think-
the first time.
No, we were at like
No?
some random bar, I think.
I thought it was a restaurant.
No, I feel like it was like a random
Maybe.
bar with like,
I know we went to Texas Roadhouse with
yeah.
Yeah.
But
an Olive Garden and Cactus Flower, which is a local Mexican place that has really good food. And is 5 minutes from our house, so that's a problem.
So just any of those places without the kids.
Anywhere, I
good
mean,
enough.
a new restaurant without the kids would be even better because something different would be nice. But just taking the initiative and planning childcare so we can go do something. Because we always talk about wanting to have a date night and then we have kids.
yeah. So babysitting is 4 kids. You know how much people charge for babysitting 4 kids?
Mm-hmm. Actually, I don't.
Like $32 an hour. Like ridiculous. Spanish says he can't remember where we went. I asked him, he can't remember. So I'm convinced, I was actually thinking about this today. I'm convinced we won't go on like a real date night until JD's old enough to watch all of them.
You only have a couple more years, really.
Yeah, like we leave them home, not Mason with them, but like he'll watch Emily for like 10 minutes while Spanish goes and gets Derek or something like that. Like, but like all I want is to sleep. Like, I just want to go, like, I almost want to be like, let's go get a hotel room and just sleep for like 12 hours.
Right.
We'll get food, bring it back, eat in bed, and go to bed.
I'm
That'll
down.
be my date night.
What about you, Laura?
I don't know. We have adequate date nights, so I mean, it's not horrible.
They get their freak on every day.
We have teenagers. Come on. We can leave them at home and leave by ourselves.
That's what happens
somewhere.
when they get old. You could do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I have an Amazon wish list, so if he wants a gift idea, he just needs to go there.
Oh,
What's
that's a
at the-
good idea.
What's at the top of the list right now?
Oh God, I haven't looked at it in a minute, so I don't know.
I like
It
that
needs to be
idea. I think
updated.
I'll start an Amazon wish list, and then that way, if he wants ideas, he can go find him.
I know something that's been on there forever. It's been a jewelry case for traveling.
Hint, hint, John.
Wink, wink.
Christmas idea.
What about you, Allie? You didn't mention a gift. You just mentioned a date night. We know what you were craving, but what about gifts?
I don't know. That's kind of hard right now. Like, there's no one thing that I can think off the bat that I just want as a gift. But I think the wish list idea is good. What, Kenny? I see you have an idea.
I was just gonna say, there you go, Shannon. You're off the hook this year.
And then she'll be pissed when she doesn't get anything.
You better get me something. No, I'll come up with the list. That's a good idea.
Well, I think the big beauty of that wish list is if you find something you like, you can put it on there, and because you might forget when it comes to time to saying, "Hey, what do you know?" When someone asks you, "What do you want?" and you're like, "I know there's things I want, but I couldn't tell you what it is off the top of my head." It's not that I need anything, you know. Like if I need, you know, the big thing is the house. If we need something, we're gonna get it. John is a hard one to shop for.
Yeah.
Shannon is too.
So Spanish. Like, just tell me what you want. Tell me.
Oh yeah, I make him put it in the Amazon cart if it's from Amazon, and then I just buy it. So he knows what he's getting.
Shannon likes to find out what he's getting. So I try to not let him know what he's getting. I get creative. When I find something, if it is on Amazon, I'll like copy the link and send it to someone else and ask them to buy it, and I'll Venmo them. And then I delete that information from the text message because he's that guy. Like, he will look through my phone just to see what he's getting for Christmas. It's not that he doesn't trust me. That's not why he goes through my phone. It's to find out what he's getting for Christmas.
See, and I'm the worst. I'm like, when I get a present, I'm like, so can I give it to you now?
Okay.
Shannon's that way too.
Can I give it to you? I just want to see your face when you see it. It's like, okay, wait 2 weeks, but I can't wait.
Yeah, gift giving is a love language, and And it is so hard to shop for him when I want to give him something,
Mm-hmm.
especially something he doesn't know about. It's just impossible. With the exception of last year, which I found a watch and totally surprised him.
Nice.
But that was the only time. So
By the way, Allie, my favorite way of surprising your husband if I want to do gifts is to just send something whenever the hell I feel like it. It has nothing to do with a birthday or Christmas.
Oh, it's a just because I love you
Yep.
gift.
He just, at
Yeah.
the door, there's just a box, and I'm like, Shannon, go open that. It got delivered today. What got delivered? I don't know. Go open it.
It's my dick in a box.
But then also, like, on their birthday or for Christmas, I get them nothing. I'm unpredictable.
Well, you
on
usually
the
get
gifts.
us games or something that
That's
we
true.
can do while you're visiting. But
Yeah, but those are more for me. Let's be honest.
it's for all of us. But yeah, Kenny even did that with the kids one day. Shannon's like, there's some children's books at the door, and I think they're from Kenny. Kenny said he was sending something.
Aw.
And they were like
Cute.
little educational children's books. They were pretty cute.
I think I sent, and I can do a couple little shout outs on those books. One of them is The Little Cyber Engineer by I don't know how to say her name, but I'm going to try anyway. Amber Devilbus. I randomly saw it on LinkedIn, loved it. I still haven't read the book. I just bought it for children because I thought that was important. And then I got Good Night Construction Site. So,
That's a good one, I must
Mhm.
say. I've read it multiple times.
So really what I try to do whenever I give gifts to kids, it's to be like activities or things to get them interested or like in things that they might like remember or revisit in the future when they're trying to think about what they like or what they want to be good at. So I'm an educator at heart and I start young. So
The
Early
little cyber
education
engineer.
is key.
mhm.
Early education, do it.
The little cyber engineer book's still a bit advanced for our kids. Like our daughter got
They
super
dumb.
excited.
There's a soundboard bite.
Like I read it and it goes over my head because it's about cyber engineering, and I'm like, okay.
Wait, one time Spanish had me like help him study for a certification. I'm like, I can't even pronounce half the stuff that is in this book. Like, and you want me to help you?
Shannon's had me try to proofread papers when he was doing like his master's program because his spelling and grammar is horrible. And I'm like a grammar Nazi. So he'll have me proofread things and I'm like, I don't know what this is supposed to say. There's no way for me to proofread this. Or he'll like want me to look at his resume and I'm like, yeah, looks good. Like I have no idea what any of it means. I'm like, send it to Kenny. Like, I don't know.
I am a huge stickler on resumes.
Josh is too. Like,
He's been getting frustrated
yeah.
at me because I've been hammering Josh about it lately because we have polarizing views on it. It's been fun.
You talked about that on one of the recent episodes, didn't you?
I think it was last
Resumes?
week.
Allie,
Yeah.
you're really good at watching these episodes.
No, I didn't watch it. I'll ask Shannon, so what'd you talk about tonight?
Oh.
So I watched
Yeah.
the first few and then I've kind of gotten out of it because like there's not always child-friendly language. And when the kids are around, I can't always focus anyway to listen to it. And then when they go to bed, I'd rather watch Love is Blind. So
Same.
you know.
Same.
One of the girls at work was talking about auditioning for that.
For
I
Love
told
is
Kenny
Blind.
to.
Mm-hmm.
They're
You
coming to
did?
Denver, and I told Kenny to do it.
Yeah.
I sent you the
Yeah.
link, and you were like, I said, Kenny, meet someone sight unseen based on emotion and
You,
intellect
Kenny,
alone.
do it. You're like
And he was
kind of
like-
famous.
He was like, I totally would if it wasn't televised. And that was the end of it.
That's totally
Just
fair.
do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, she was like, you should come with me, and audition. I'm like, I'm married.
Pretend you're not. It's fine.
Who cares? It's TV.
There's the fakers.
So the last question from the husbands. This one's from Josh.
Spanish.
Spanish. Thank you. And when he asked this, he said he's more interested in seeing your reactions than anything else. So
We just said you weren't an asshole.
Don't make us take it back.
He gave me like 3 different questions to choose from. I chose the one that I thought was a little bit like, I don't know, more tame,
Dirty?
I guess.
Oh, God.
So, if money and time weren't a factor, what is one thing you wish you could do for or give your husband?
What a, self-centered question there, Spanish.
And you said he wasn't an asshole.
One thing you would do or give?
Yep. Do for or give to. Well, there's your
Radio
answer,
silence.
Spanish. Let's go.
Cue the crickets.
What are the other questions?
I don't know. I didn't write them down.
I feel like Shannon has everything he wants, and I think that's kind of the common theme is all these guys just
I know. I got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I do too.
I got it. An entire equipped smart house. All with all the technology things that he wants, he likes exactly how it is, whatever
Jarvis.
he wants. That
That
and
would-
I would finally get my clapper.
You wouldn't even
I
have
was
to clap. You would just tell it to turn
I
off the lights.
We were going to bed the other night, and I was like, the ceiling fan was on, and I was like, can you tell Google to shut off the fan? He's like, not yet, but hopefully soon.
Oh, we already started having that in the house. So
Like, can Google make dinner?
Right.
He's like, one day they will. But that's my answer to the question. All his technology stuff, how he wants it.
Which means he'd have to be the one to do it. If somebody else did it, he'd just get mad at him.
He'd
Yeah.
fix it anyway.
Yep.
I want more questions. I like this.
I know. Text the guys in the group, be like, they need more questions.
I am gonna throw out there and say 2 people didn't answer the question, and that in itself is an answer.
well, I have an answer. It'll be the house on the lake with trees around it that we've been talking about.
Can I come live with you?
You'd have
That's
to
my
come visit
dream.
first.
My
Burn.
dream.
Yeah, the house that's on the lake that's surrounded by trees that's equal distance away from the ocean and the mountains. And with the temperate weather.
What is that temperature?
Where it sticks between 90 and 30, doesn't go above, doesn't go below.
30. Not 90.
Yeah.
75.
Well, I mean, that would be the perfect temperature, but I mean, you still have seasons. We still want to have seasons. That perfect house in that perfect area, that's what I'd give him. Because I know it's out there.
In California,
Love it.
probably.
No. I will not move to California. Other side.
I would get Shannon.
Well, actually, anywhere.
I would get Shannon his Ford Raptor. It would have to be red.
That man.
I
and his
know,
trucks.
Kenny. I know.
Makes no sense.
Out of nowhere today, I was driving down the road with my youngest. He's almost 4, and the interstate was closed for an accident today, so traffic was ridiculous. Like usually what would take half an hour took me an hour, which around here is a long time. We're driving down the road, and out of nowhere, from the back seat, he goes, "Oh, I know. I want Dad to get a red truck." I'm like, wonder where you got that from, kid.
Oh, jeez.
Dad's been talking about his red truck.
All right, the last question's from me.
Okay.
Did you have a good time? Was this fun? Would you do it again?
Fucking sucked.
Thanks.
Rude.
Just kidding.
That's why she
I
moved
had
across
fun.
the country. It was fun.
Yeah.
Do y'all want to come back for another one in like next week? Honestly, I
Next
think we're
week?
canceling next week is the holiday, but yeah.
I was like, next week's Thanksgiving, but maybe another time.
Would you like it to be the same format, still me moderating, or would you like one of the other guys to come in? Do you want to just do the three of you with no supervision at all? Like, what do you think?
Watch out, it might get a little crazy if we're alone.
I think it'd be fun too to like have a couples session where we're here with the guys.
That was my first suggestion. Just so everyone knows.
I'm glad we did this. Right? I'm glad we did this with just us because we could say stuff without them interfering and having their input.
It's definitely fun from my perspective, but
yes.
How would the couple session work? Would that be like all 6 of you and then me take the night off? Or should I be the 7th wheel?
Or you could
You could be there.
Be
Who cares?
the 7th wheel, Kenny.
I'm always the 7th wheel, let's be honest.
I know.
You have a kitty that can like sit next to you.
Or on me. It's fine too.
Pizza.
Well, I think that wraps up. Oh,
Wrap us.
let me start that again. Josh, don't keep that one.
Wait. I still have to say dongle again.
Dongle.
Everybody's got to do it.
Dongle, dongle, dongle.
The singing.
Dongle.
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 Ooh.
What does a dongle look like? Is it a thing? Does it dongle?
I'm sure. Yes, it's a thing.
You
it
say
looks like a
dongle,
little...
and I see this.
Yeah, that's kind of what it does.
Where's my camera? I'm sure there's one around here somewhere.
I probably have one on this desk somewhere. I don't even know it.
Is there like a wireless
Out of all the
mouse?
stuff, I don't have one.
Or a wireless
that's a dongle?
No.
Oh.
Dongle.
Who knew?
Everyone but you.
Well, I think that wraps up another episode of Life in Cyber. Thanks to all listeners for tuning in. Remember, if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe and share with your tech friends. Drop your questions and thoughts in the comment section down below. Drop us a line at podcast@lifeincyber.com. Ladies, any closing words?
Dongle.
Dongle.
Dongle.